Hey everyone, Nick here, just before another bonus episode of Tabletop begins. Today we are going to be talking about the Forgotten Realms, but first we have something really special. Tabletopped is now selling advertising space to you, our community. If you're interested in buying a spot with us, feel free to email us at tabletoppedpodcast@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on Twitter at Tabletopped. If you don't need ad space but still love to help the show out, then please do what you are asked to on pretty much every podcast ever. Like and subscribe, share it with friends. You can always hit up our social media accounts or send us some questions that we can answer on the show to our email. Again, that is tabletoppodcast@gmail.com. And as always, thank you so much for listening. I hope you all enjoy the show after these words from our sponsor. Are you sick of wearing the same clothes as everyone else? I know I am. I love the idea of having a specific piece of clothing in my wardrobe that is unique to me, something that I help make. Well, good news. We've found somebody who can help you do exactly that. Daily Dose of Yarn is a woman-owned small business that creates unique and custom handmade beanies. I immediately thought of ordering one with the name of my long-running D&D character on it, or maybe like an inside joke from our table, and she was super great and said that she would do any sort of custom orders along with everything that she had in her shop. If you want to rep your hobby or get one of these beautifully made hats, just go to Daily Dose of Yarn on Instagram and Etsy. That's Daily Dose of Yarn, all one word with capital D's and a capital Y. A simple Google search will pull them up. I can't recommend her products enough, and don't take my word for it. Just head to the Etsy shop, and you can read all of the reviews recommending these awesome hats. So go to Daily Dose of Yarn today and order yours, and tell them the Tabletop sent you. Hey everyone, welcome back to a bonus episode of Tabletopped in a series we like to call Setting the Table. Today we're going to take another look at another D&D setting, this time kind of the vanilla flavor of D&D Forgotten Realms. Shade is going to sort of speak to it, but just to let everyone know, it's not our favorite of the different settings, and so we might not be as enthusiastic about Dragonlance because that's a hard energy level to beat.
Yeah. So I'm speaking for this because I am the most vanilla person you'll ever find.
That's not true. Come on.
I'm pretty vanilla. I'm wearing khaki. No, I'm wearing jeans right now, but Anyway, yeah. So Forgotten Realms, it's hard to say anything. You said it's not our favorites because there are a lot of really cool settings out there, but it's vanilla for a reason. It is, it has been around since AD&D, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. It was created by Ed Greenwood. It was actually something he started working on as a child and is still working on today. And so we're talking, it actually became published material in the 80s, and it has endured. And it is sort of the core setting for 5th edition right now. And I say sort of because really beginning in 4th edition with Points of Light, D&D kind of began to shift away from default campaign settings. They always have something that is kind of what they're really looking towards and giving you maybe a little bit more information about. But in theory, the default setting is your world. It's the place you make. And in 5e, the default setting is arguably, the material plane in which all worlds exist, the multiverse in which all worlds exists.
So do you say Madonna is like the real chief deity of everything because she's just a material plane? And she's
in a material world. That's right. That's right. You threw me by saying material plane. My mind instantly autofilled material girl, and I was like playing the song in my head. And then when you said plane, I was like, no, that's wrong, Daniel. What?
I come at you from every direction. You never know where I'm hitting from.
Once again, I'm Shade, the most vanilla person imaginable. So this joke flew over my head. Anyway, yeah, so Forgotten Realms is really an interesting setting in that it is a high fantasy setting. It can kind of hit all of the notes you expect from high fantasy. It has major wizard organizations. It has vast libraries. It has small little villages and towns and strange foreign lands and beasts out in the in the shadows, and then it has big splendid cities like Waterdeep.
It has a pantheon of kind of stupid gods.
Well,
and by stupid I don't mean like the concepts are stupid. I mean like they make very stupid decisions quite often.
there's so the deities in Forgotten Realms do have kind of a history of things just going wrong, which that's actually, for me, that is something that actually speaks to me quite a lot in this setting, I will say, because I've always been, again, vanilla man that I am, I've been a big fan of the classics, and I like flawed gods. I think they're really interesting. Perfect gods are kind of boring, but a god who's out there fucking around, that's interesting.
Remember when the gods fucked up so bad in the Forgotten Realms that a higher level god made them all mortal to punish them?
Yeah. Remember when magic died in the Forgotten Realms? Which is that's the kind of cool thing about Forgotten Realms, is that it covers all of it.
Yeah.
If you can imagine it, it has happened in the Forgotten Realms at some point.
Yeah.
And high magic, I said when the magic died, that's actually the thing I always think of. I think of Mystra and the Weave. When I think Forgotten Realms, I am thinking about the Weave constantly, because she as a central goddess, deity in the Forgotten Realms, and the Weave plays a role in every life.
Can you explain a little bit about the Weave? Because I, even having played in Forgotten Realms settings, don't fucking know what that is.
Well, here's a fun thing. Actually, so when I said that Forgotten Realms is kind of your default setting for 5e, if you crack open your 5th edition player handbook right now, they will kind of lay out, in the appendices, they'll lay out all sorts of stuff about, these are deities in this world, and this is this cosmology, and yada, yada, yada. But throughout, they kind of have basic Forgotten Realms stuff. And when 5e talks about magic, it talks explicitly about the Weave. The Weave is this tapestry of magical energies that Mystra creates, or maybe is a part of. Mystra is the Weave, and it's how everyone connects to the magic. So in 5th edition, you connect to the Weave perhaps through your deity, if you are a paladin or a cleric. So your wisdom modifiers they're giving you that connection. It's a divine, actually I cycle that back, it's a divine magic. They're actually not, they're still connecting to the Weave, but it's different. And with a sorcerer, a warlock, and a wizard, they're connecting in other fashions as well. They're all tapping into it.
Yeah, and it also gives you, and we've talked about this a little bit in our multiverse episode, but it does give you a way to get into the multiverse, right? Because this is the setting with, demons and devils sort of fucking around. So and like the demons are an abyssal creature, right? With that implies a existence of a wild, chaotic mess outside of the kind of structured world.
Yeah, and I think in most, not all, but many D&D settings, deities are there. They're in your face. You know about them. They're a known quantity. But in Forgotten Realms, boy, are they a known quantity. There's no doubt. You may, as a commoner, not have a great grasp on what's going on, but that stuff's out there. That there are, at some level, there are other planes of existence, and Forgotten Realms does not shy away from that.
God, the existential dread in the Forgotten Realms, like, common folk must be like just way more of a burden than I've ever thought about.
But I think about that a lot, actually.
Yeah, now I'm starting to think. Now I'm starting to be like, oh, maybe this is a cooler setting than I thought, because just having that knowledge be common. Think about when you're getting closer to the end of your life and you're just desperate to not die, but to escape into another like realm of being or whatever. That's a campaign of just like old adventurers all trying to escape their mortal lives.
Yeah, and that's a really fun way to go.
I would definitely play in a campaign where you're all just like 80, 90-year-old adventurers, and you're like, we got to do one more thing to get into the good realms.
They're all just like, yeah, I just can't remember where I left the key. Like all that kind of stuff.
Having to roll an intelligence save if you remember all of the words in your spell.
Yeah, just having a wizard be like, hey guys, I know that I used to be able to make water, but I can't remember how to do it anymore. This is great.
Why did you say make water?
Oh, man. The rogue trying to pick locks, but he has arthritis now.
That's like when you fail, it's just like, your fingers, you have hollow bones with your hold, so you just break a finger or whatever.
So, a couple things I'll say, just steer us back to track. Daniel spoke very highly of Dragonlance and the series of books, and Forgotten Realms also has a really rich history of books that I didn't read because I'm not great about reading fantasy. So I am literate. I just
Okay, so they share a rich history of books. Shade, what can you tell us about Forgotten Realms, and do they have a lot of fucking dragons?
Oh, do they have a lot of dragons, Dan? Yes, they have a lot of dragons. Absolutely. Not as many as Dragonlance, but they have a lot of dragons. Kind of contrary to or the same as Dragonlance in many regards, they also have a kind of a war between the chromatic and the metallic dragons, where instead of Paladin, it's Bahamut, and instead of, tell me her name again in Dragonlance.
Oh, it's Kisses, bro.
Thank you. I cannot ever remember that name. I'm so sorry. It's Tiamat. That's a name that I can remember. It's very much the same thing. And again, if you've already listened to the Dragonlance episode, or if that is yet to come, be on the lookout. And we mentioned Fizban's there, Treasury of Dragons, and that kind of gets into this connection between Paladin and Bahamut and Kismis and Tiamat. Did I say her name right this time? Kismis? Christmas?
Takesis.
Sorry. I hate that I can't remember that name.
Yeah, it's Ketosis, the dragon.
Gesundheit.
Also the diet. Oh my god, a keto dragon would be great.
So
named Ketosis. Oh my god, guys, we have to make this. We have a setting on our hands.
So just remember, folks, we're not experts
at anything.
Yeah. But anyway, there are a lot of dragons, of course. There's really every fantasy creature you can imagine. It's in the Forgotten Realms. And some of the bigger names that you probably know. In the Dragonlance episode, we were talking about Drizzt Do'Urden. That's the R.A. Salvatore character, the Drow.
The original Larry Stew.
Yeah. The Drow character who went against the Drow societal norms and became a ranger.
A good person.
Yeah. So that's one thing that has evolved over the years.
Yeah.
In older versions of all D&D, but because we're talking about Forgotten Realms, it didn't do such a great job in painting everyone as equal. It has a lot of inherently evil people, and that's something that 5e in general is moving away from. It's something that Ed Greenwood seems to have been moving away from. And again, I want to really say one thing I really love about Forgotten Realms is Ed continues to put stuff out there constantly. Like, if you go to Sage Advice on Twitter, he posts on that and answers questions about anything about the Forgotten Realms pretty regularly, which is neat. I like that living...
it's still like a living document,
yeah,
I think.
Exactly.
So if somebody were to want to play in Forgotten Realms, can you give us sort of a... these kinds of campaigns would do super well in this setting, and also on the flip side, this is the stuff that you might want to choose another setting for if you are choosing Forgotten Realms to do X,
Well, as we said, this is the vanilla fantasy at this time. So if you want to play in Forgotten Realms, boy, howdy, is it going to be easy, because there are a billion books out there right now for 5th edition that are official and also third party that you can play in the Forgotten Realms right now. It's mostly going to be the Sword Coast, but there is rumors of other stuff outside the Sword Coast maybe on its way, and that's exciting. But campaigns that really work well, I mean, I'll list off some of the campaigns that already exist in published materials. We've got the Waterdeep campaigns, so that's Dragon Heist, and then also by extension the Mad Mage adventures modules. There's Tales from the Yawning Portal. Technically goes all over the place, but the idea there is that it starts maybe at the Yawning Portal. There are all the stories or all the adventures that come out of oh my gosh, edit this part out because I'm trying to remember the name and I've just completely forgotten it.
Just give a pause before you restart.
Yes, we're gonna do that because I'm gonna look this up.
Now's my chance. Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey.
No.
I'm putting that as the cold open.
Oh my god, why did I forget this place? Candlekeep. There's Candlekeep Mysteries, which is really fantastic. And, 5e does that thing where it's agnostic in its campaigns. Yeah, these places may exist in Faerun or Forgotten Realms, but you can plop them right down in your own little homebrew world. You can plop them down in your pre-existing world. Maybe you're playing in Dragonlance, and you decide Candlekeep should be there too. Yeah, cool. You could do that in 5e, but these are some things that already exist there.
And for pitfalls that people might want to stay away from Forgotten Realms for, it could be the case that, because it is such a broad setting, there really is no pitfall.
Yeah, if you're plundering the old stuff, some of the pitfalls are going to be problematic. Things around race.
Yeah, there's some eugenics-y stuff in there.
So that's a pitfall. But I think if you're keeping with some of the more modern stuff, the pitfalls are going to be not really based so much on the Forgotten Realms, so much as they are maybe on how the book was written, how they laid things out in the book. I don't really have a lot of pitfalls.
Yeah, anything that's been around for 5 decades is going to have some cloudy moments.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone, every person that's been around for more than a decade is going to have some cloudy moments.
And again, what would be able to give us greater empathy into that? By playing a group of old fucking adventurers trying to escape their mortality and perhaps their wrongdoings by ascending to a different plane of existence. Well, thank you, Shade, for giving us a run-in with Forgotten Realms. Everyone, I would say that this is also, just in my head, it's a great place to start a homebrew as well, as a place to sort of get a basic rule structure going, or basic laws, basic relationships between different, factions and things like that.
I mean, you've probably heard a little podcast that started its homebrew off in Forgotten Realms called The Adventure Zone.
No, I don't think I've heard.
No?
Is
that not it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Well, anyway. Everyone, thank you so much for talking to me about Forgotten Realms.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.